Hello, my name is Frank Kelly. I'm a Principal Clinical Engineer and welcome to St Vincent's University Hospital, Dublin, Ireland. St Vincent's is a leading academic teaching hospital providing frontline acute, chronic and emergency care across 40 different medical specialties. St Vincent's is a 500-bed hospital, and on its campus it also has St Vincent's private hospital, which has approximately 250 beds. Both hospitals were used during the COVID emergency at the beginning of our first phase. On the 12th of January 2020, the World Health Organization confirmed that a novel coronavirus was the cause of a respiratory illness in Wuhan province in China. It was a respiratory illness in a cluster of patients. It was reported to the WHO on the 31st of December 2019. The virus was reported in Europe in Bordeaux, France on the 24th of January and was first reported in Ireland on the 29th of February 2020. In St Vincent's Hospital, the response was swift and focused. Senior management met with the heads of department and planned the response and designated specific ward areas for COVID-19 isolated patients. This provided clinical engineering and ICT, our computer department, staff with such challenges. We had to set up a two-stream emergency department. We also had to increase our ICU capacity. We had to set up emergency dialysis water and central stations for cardiac monitoring. Our department is a joint department of medical physicists and clinical engineers. We have 9 clinical engineers. The department head is Dr. Julie Lucy, Chief Physicist, and our Chief Clinical Engineer is Declan Murray. Clinical engineering met on a daily basis to discuss and update all clinical engineering staff on the situation. We identified resources available and the needs required to manage the situation. Personnel with specific skill sets were nominated to manage various areas within the hospital. One staff member was nominated as the clinical engineering HSE contact person. This person was Aidan O'Connor, and the HSE is our National Health Authority. We identified critical equipment required, such as ventilators, infusion devices, dialysis water, cardiac monitoring with central stations. Connectivity was vital, and digital thermometers and respiratory support devices. Training was required. PPE training was given by our infection control department on the donning and doffing of PPE, personal protective equipment. We had terrific online support from the Biomedical Engineering Association of Ireland, the WHO, the Ireland BEAI and the ECRI. Online training was given and online conferences were watched by the staff. We also supplied expertise to various areas within the hospital. The emergency department was segregated into COVID and non-COVID streams and was equipped. Servicing was carried out in the COVID area, so we weren't removing equipment from that area. The ICU extended into theatres, PACU, which is the recovery area, and ward blocks, increasing the capacity of ICU beds from 16 to 50. In theatre, anaesthetic ventilators we're using now medical air instead of oxygen to conserve our oxygen supply. This was a novel idea brought up by the Principal Clinical Engineer in Theatre, Derek Farrell, where they changed the anaesthetic ventilator drive from oxygen to medical air, 4 bar. This saved approximately 8 litres per hour of oxygen across 25 ventilators. The emergency dialysis water system was designed, installed and commissioned in a 6-storey ward block. 4 floors were equipped with emergency dialysis water. We provided to date 64 hemodialysis treatments in that area to COVID patients. There was a major increase in new equipment, and this required asset management and equipment management. This was managed by Irene McQuillan. Staff working long hours and provided a 24-hour service support